Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the World Tactical Racing League Gravel Series. Week number 1 is a 4-week series out on gravel-specific courses. So the idea here is to make it a little bit more tactical with whether or not you're choosing, well, a road bike. Not sure you're going to want that out there, but they're on the jungle circuit, so most likely a gravel or a mountain bike. We're going to be covering the men's A and the women's category out there today. Dave Toll next to me. Dave, it looks like we've got the women for some reason. They really jumped on this one out here today. I saw 2020 put an announcement out, and there's more women actually in this race than we see in the men's pen out there today, which is not something you usually see.
I love it. It's definitely going to be the focus race today. It's a super strong field. I mean, Reznikov is back. Kolchinsky is out here. These are two names that we really are starting to hear more and more. And of course, and as you mentioned, thank you to Nikki Cranmer making a big push to help get other riders out here. It's an ecosystem that we need to make for great racing, Nathan. So we've got exactly that. We are locked and loaded. This is not a drill. Big time bike racing is back. Thank you to our friends Martin and Steven at WTRL. It's got a really cool concept. And here we go. Launch codes have been entered. T-0 seconds. We're racing.
Yeah, and we actually have a rider already off the front here, Utilitaric in the men's A category here. And I think because he is on this factor bike here, I wonder if maybe he's taking off like,
oh boy,
okay, like trying to get away. Well, I think he's like, okay, well, I need to go like now because this pack's going to come flying after me here. We do have, it looks like Dan Fleeman on the Scott Spark, it looks like, with Gotcha there on, it looks like an S-Works. So a lot of mountain bikes out there. I'm seeing a Canyon Gravel, those you can see here. So it'll be interesting to see how things play out against the gravel bikes versus the MTBs today.
Nathan, you're the expert here, no doubt about it. I see my friend Rob Noble is jumping in to watch the broadcast. Help myself and Rob out. Why does it make such a huge difference? What's the perfect bike to have today on this course? The gravel obviously changes a lot.
The gravel's going to have more of a punch when it comes to pickup of speed when you're on the when you are on the dirt, but the mountain bike is going to be more consistent over time. So if you do put a hard threshold effort in, it might not have quite as much of a pickup of speed, but it'll travel at a consistently higher rate. So we do see Hodges here pushing off the front just a little bit, it looks like, and he's on that S-Work.
So carrying momentum? Sorry, it's going to have momentum.
It's going to be, it doesn't have quite as much resistance, but the gravel bike, though, is going to punch a little harder. Is Hodges using a Sturzo? That look, so he's going left. He must be. He's going right. Do you see it?
So this is brand new technology. Nathan actually has one right next to him right now. It really just the last couple of days.
He is totally on the Sturzo.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh,
how cool is that?
The
Sturzo people, I mean, they're going to be loving this. So it's elite who behind this. So there you go. Fleeman, the world tour rider. He rode for Cervelo Test Team in his life. He's been a director as well, working with 2020 on the esports side of things. He's sitting about 5th, 6th wheel right now. That is really, really cool. I love seeing the technology breaking through in real life here, or well, being used, I should say. So, all right, Nathan, a small field today. We're going to be racing for 3 laps on the jungle circuit, another tried and true circuit here. It's almost 10K per lap today for 29 total kilometers. So this one will be done and dusted. Dusted being the operative word today, Nathan.
I love it. This is like
how much of a difference is this going to make?
He is pushing 7 watts per kilogram here, moving to the right there. Gotcha cannot find a wheel here. He's trying to find the wheel, and it's completely walking away. Gotcha have to match the effort. And I wonder if his avatar gets close enough. If the avatar is going to try and find the wheel here in just a moment. Yeah, but as you can see, Fleeman trying to get on terms, and it looks like this is going to be a breakaway situation early on where you would usually not see something like this at all.
Okay. This is a whole new era of racing. This new technology is going to change a lot. So again, Fleeman is the blue jersey here. You can see these other riders. So very few people are going to have this right now, Nathan. I think they just kind of, the production first run must have started shipping over the last week. Does that sound about right to you? Because you're the first person I know that have one. That's not a surprise at all, as you're at the pinnacle out here. But Dan Fleeman is also super connected. He riding for the Ceres, the Pros Closet team.
Yeah, looking through, you can watch the avatars. You can really tell whether or not they're steering out there right now. And it doesn't look like Fleeman's actually going right or left at all here. We do see Henderson from Team Draft making his way to the front. Is now on the Canyon Grail with a little bit of a push. They are closing things down. It looks like Davies now, as well as Sanchez from Iglesia Bikers now also closing things down. Now, we do have the women's side of things taking off from the pens as well. Let's go ahead and jump in with them as they head out for their 3 laps out onto the circuit. And you can see the level here as we've got nothing but orange check marks and orange pro jerseys on the right-hand side there. And I love seeing all the mountain bikes. I feel like I'm at Order Shore or Schwamigan or Iceman on the lead out on the road here as they all kind of bunch up together and kind of try and find the draft before they actually hit the dirt section here. As we do see, I think Backus making her way to the front now as we're looking at Natalia Franco, 168 beats per minute, 203 watts, steady as they go through this section, as I think this is just going to be kind of the eyeing each other up, waiting for any attacks.
Well, Nathan, I love that we can jump in with such a strong women's field here. I mean, if you go on to Zwift Power and take a look at the start list, it's quite a group. I mean, Shayna Paulus is the first name that pops up. I already mentioned Reznikov and Kolchinsky, but then you go a little deeper. I mean, there's the Canadian bronze medalist from the Olympics. That would be 2020's Jasmine During. You've got Natalia Franco, the powerhouse out of Colombia. I love her racing style. So Carly Johan, Sisu is back, Nathan. She's a danger woman without any doubt. So this is Amanda Coker racing today for the 2020 team as well. So 2020 brought a really nice squad here as we take a look at this front group, but always going to be watching for Charlotte Backus. This is going to be a fun one for her. I don't know of any rider who's been doing more work through this COVID period and Charlotte has never shied away from hard work, but there we go, picking up the turbo rider. Always remembering that Charlotte races at about 6,000 feet of elevation where she is there in Utah right now. It doesn't make a massive difference, but it does make a difference.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We do hear a lot of chatter here and there about trying to even things out a little bit when it comes to the reality of having to race at elevation, because that's a whole can of worms. I've actually gotten into some conversations in the background with a lot of the riders because, and my take on it is, well, I never had mountains to go train in or elevation to sleep high, train low, and so but other people did, and so I had to show up to races and change my lifestyle maybe if I wanted to compete. Otherwise, I just had to show up without that advantage. And so sometimes exactly. I'm kind of like, we can't transfer over then to the indoor genre to say, look, now we're going to change something somehow in order to make things fair. It seems like something that's just an uncontrollable,
I agree.
Uncontrollable thing, because people show up to the Colombian races and they're like, all these, everyone here is completely acclimated and we've got nothing at this time of season. And that's just reality. And if you want to change, you can change your lifestyle in order to get, somebody could go race low if they wanted to, if they changed the location of their trainer. So that's my opinion on the matter.
Absolutely. I'm with you. If you want to use the earth as your playing field, which we in cycling do, these are the, you're going to have to the give and the take in this sport. Here is my, my new, remember, Nathan, I used to have my rookie of the year. Well, time moves differently now in COVID era. So it seems like we have a rider of the month, I would say. And Kristen Kolchinsky is that rider for me, really coming on strong the last few times that we've seen her race. She had and this, I learned a lot about her character too, Nathan, the way she managed last week, having that dropout when she was in second in a big race that we were calling. She came back the next day and just went ballistic, and it shows me that she's motivated and has got her head in the game, and is certainly the kind of rider that you love having out here racing. And let me go ahead and make this point right now. 2020, Nathan, you can see the team here with the green and blue jersey. They are an in real life monster squad. This is a team that is fully credentialed. They're the Stanford or the Harvard of universities, if you use that analogy. I mean, they have really done a great job, and for more than a decade. However, they still have their hands full on a day like today. In no way is this lock, stock, and barrel their race. They've got to deal with a bunch of riders, Nathan. And I mean, I'm not saying that they need to create an alliance out there, but just the fact that you're going to have Charlotte Backus from Turbo, you're going to have Kolchinsky, you're going to have Reznikov, super strong triathlete out of Israel, the PTZ rider. There's a lot of wild cards. So we're going to jump back now. Thanks, Nathan. Picking up James Hodges here, British Army rider, KRT, the team. Hodges, one of the most respected riders in esports.
Yeah, this guy, a little bit of a kick off the front here coming from Hodges. Gajka now making a move as well. It does look like they were able to drop off a few of the riders here, as it is going to be Davies here, BRT, off the back just a little bit. 157 beats per minute, though. I think he's going to bring that back. Now we do see Sanchez unable to hang, as it looks like Harris as well dropped off. Now Henderson and Mannert, WTRL, Fleeman, Gajka, all able to make this, and then it's going to be Andy here from Dirty Afternoon. Right, interesting name, as Hodges continues to push on, and left-hand side of the course as he uses the advantage. It looks like he has.
I'm going to go. That Dirty Afternoon Delight is an acronym for Dad. So
that's nice. Nice. That is exactly what I would have. The dad in the dirt inside. Dad's inside riding trainers with the little.
It all adds up. Like. It looks
look at the spin to win here. Was that like, holy God? I think his RPMs may be a little bit all over the place here, but definitely spin to win. It looks like Andy as he holds on to Fleeman's wheel. Hodges continues on to try and break things up as he goes left and right across the front of this pack, as they're unable to hold any kind of draft on him. I wonder if they're getting any advantage. It would be great to be able to see whether or not they actually are getting anything from them.
Yeah, we're going to learn a lot, aren't we, Nathan, over the next week about how this is going to impact racing. I'm sure people will be, those that have embraced this are going to be really interested in how this is going to change the game out here. So you take a look again. This is our front group, and really the peloton. This is a new series that is just getting going. There's a lot of exciting things happen as we move into fall racing coming up as we're at least here into the dog days of summer. Where I am in Colorado, it's pretty much getting close to 100 degrees just about every day. So definitely getting inside and racing in air conditioning, not so bad. But we're going to see these fields really build here, trying out some new things. I have a feeling, Nathan, this is going to really catch on. When people see what's happening out here with this brand new WTRL Gravel Series. I think they've got this one. They cracked the code. You can see as we split the screens here, the women's peloton still pretty big as they make their way through lap number 1. The guys just about to start lap number 2. Again today, 3 total laps for 29K. This is the jungle circuit.
And the women here now just starting their first lap of 3, Wendorf to the front, and they have not actually taken on a climb yet. It's all been descending or flat. They're about to hit the climb onto up toward the suspension bridge. And this section that's coming up here is the main climb each and every lap. It does have a couple of punches in it. It's not extreme gradients at any point, but it is kind of a consistent, I believe it's a 4 to 5 minute threshold or over threshold effort if you really want to press the pace. I could see 6 to 7 watts per kilogram. I would think from the men, 5 to 6 from the women to really try and break them. They're going to have to punch out the front, though, because you can get a good draft, as you can see in the men's race right now.
Yeah, these guys are starting to open up little gaps here on the front. Such an interesting... I mean, this is like racing out of the breakaway, knowing that you're not going to get caught by a chasing pack here. So the tactical dynamics in a small group like this are off the charts, really. Because, I mean, rarely do you have a chance to go to a line from... What are we still looking at? About 20K of racing here. And one of the guys on your screen is going to win this race.
Yeah, it's a great point. And the reality of the pack here, how small it is at this point, is going to lend a little bit more aggressive racing, I would think, because you can take some more risks. Henderson now making his way to the front. Gadja now. The risks, they're going to pay off a lot more because there's not as many bodies to chase you down. There's not as much drafting to chase you down. So
there's no team tactic here.
Exactly. There is no teams right now.
Everybody's on their own here.
They're all solo teams at this point. So everybody really is going to be all out for themselves when it comes to any kind of attacks.
This is the men that we're talking about right now, the men's A's. We've got A's, B's, C's, D's, and the E group is going to be the women. It's a different story when you look at the women, Nathan, is this is going to be, again, a great challenge when you're the 2020 team here. Is the last thing they wanted to do, and this is why Nikki was reaching out to the community saying, come race, please come race, is that they don't want it to be easy. If you want to get better at something, you go and do it with people who are better than you. I think that's pretty universally accepted, right?
Yeah, and
Sometimes when you're 2020, it's hard to find people better than you, so you look to maybe get ganged up on. I don't know.
Good, great point. Great point. We do definitely have an elite squad that's formed, though, amongst the women. That's for sure. Kolchinski leads them out on their first climb at this point. And I think when it comes to the elites, look at this, though, now as we speak about the elites. Kolchinski, MacGyver now giving a little bit of dig from Cryo RDT. Wow. Reznikov, we were talking about her before the race, the triathlete.
Antonina. Yep.
Really, really strong. You were saying mother as well, racing
mom
from
of
home.
3. Yeah, another, like she jokingly on social media last week was telling me, hey, I'm no pro triathlete. I'm a mom. Just doing my best out here. Well, don't sell yourself short, as they say. As Charlotte Backus is a young, I believe Charlotte is 22. Leah Thorvaldsen is out here today, Nathan. I did not know this. So
look at this
Leah
gap
Thorvaldsen,
forming, though, from that attack there coming from Kolchinski. Yeah. And now they've gone across. It looks like Backus, Paulus, as well as Reznikov close it out. During's there as well. 2020 able to make the move with them. Franco now trying to come across, it looks like.
If Franco's going to bring a few riders with her, it looks like this is a really interesting moment here with a lot of racing ahead of us. You can see a few riders getting tailed off of the group. I don't think everybody's going to survive, but that's a super strong Natalia Franco, the Colombian Express, closing that one down, and she does bring a few riders back with her. Nate, boy, they're having at it out here. It's just going to be body blow after body blow. I love this jungle circuit course that we're racing on. Clearly, this is going to create some great racing today. As we jump back and forth, now you can see riders who will not give up out here. There's still something left in the tank for Baltes.
Balta is about halfway up the climb here at this point, and 5.2 might not be able to make it because of the reality of the draft up there. Kolchinski, as you can see, the alien wear kit off the front just a little bit up there, up ahead, and I think she is really going to be splintering this group because of the pace that she's sending. Baltez, I don't think, is coming back to this pack as it continues off on the front. Another kick from Kolchinski. She knows the moments to go, it looks like, as she uses these little undulations and then the downhills to take as much speed as she can over this climb. Look at how it's really strung out a little bit. Feels like, again, I can't stress enough how much it feels like a mountain bike race. Like that straight line I'm seeing with the dirt there, the reality of the slower moving kind of makes it so that the power, like the reality of if you've ever ridden through mud on a bike, like or even out on dirt, like there's kind of a little bit more drag, and it does something to the draft and the dynamics of the pack here. And look at how things are just getting blown apart between the riders right now. Kolchinski, Reznikov, MacGyver, it looks like Paulus Backus all able to make it. Franco trying to hang on. Thorvaldsen now 5 seconds back. Not sure. I think we're going to have a select group off the front after this first climb.
I tell you what, Kolchinski is a really interesting person. She's a jewelry designer by trade, but an athlete that is clearly finding a sweet spot. We're going to hear a lot more from her. I mean, look at what she has done to this bike race, just grabbing it by the scruff of the neck here, and it looks like she's taken a few riders. Nice to see the 2020 is able to not get caught out here. They've got 2 riders up in this group, but this is a little bit different, Nathan, than a breakaway. This is just breaking them. I don't think that, I mean, this is just a power move here that initiated by Kolchinski. Kristen Kolchinski lit the fuse, and these are the riders that have gone with her. And Nathan, I think the winner of this race is on your screen here right now. They've got a long way to go, but this is quite a selection that's been made. Give credit where it's due. Backus is here. MacGyver makes it. Antonina Reznikov is there. These are the names that you would expect to see. And then Franco and Paulus making it for 2020. We got ourselves a dynamite bike race going on right now. Heck yeah.
A little bit of a chatter going on here about the bikes to use in the chat. It looks like Martin Crude, WTRL, saying gravel bikes are great for mixed surfaces, but the MTB still king on dirt courses. But a couple of opinions coming on through as well. Ross Whitehead letting us know that MTB wins until the sprint. If you can hold the pack on a gravel bike until the sprint, then the race is yours. I would definitely agree that when it comes to pure speed, in a sprinting situation, the gravel bike is going to have some more pickup. So we'll have to wait and see if anybody can hang on. But if you want to break the pack, as Kolchinski's doing, you can see she is on a mountain bike here right now. Has anyone on a gravel made it? It does look like it is going to be Reznikov that has made the only one, I think, though, on the gravel bike. So definitely putting in a little bit extra dig, I think, in order to do so, though.
In order to finish first you've got to finish in the first group. And that's a big ask when riders like Reznikov and Kolchinski are just slaying it out here. Shayna Powles comes in as the top-ranked rider on Zwift Power. And, Nathan, a name that we know well. The Powles family are an inspirational group. I mean, you can talk about many different elements with the Powles family, but one thing's for sure, Shayna was one of the early adopters of high school mountain bike racing up in that NorCal league. She's gone on to do bigger and better. No, I wouldn't say better because I don't want to discount what high school mountain biking is all about. For a lot of people, that is going to be one of the real highlights in their life. If you can now, Nathan, go from high school mountain biking racing to collegiate program, those might be 6 to 8 years, just magical years that folks my age would have never experienced. I mean, collegiate racing just was really getting going in the 80s.
Yeah, and some of the best by far sports that are taking place, not necessarily not necessarily always the ones that are televised or at the top level. Really the growing
varsity,
the passion, the passion that comes from a sport a lot of times does come from that varsity level, coming from that level that starts in the tradition building in the hearts of people. And I think when you do see the passion that's going to come out of things like the NICA program that's going on, the National Interscholastic Cycling Association, I think they put more kids on bikes than any other association I know of in the U.S. So big shout out to them, as well as all the organizations, as we are a worldwide platform, obviously, that are out there getting more kids on bikes. It's the big thing. Locally here, I was part of starting up the Lake Country. Now, and it was one composite team between a bunch of high schools. And investing in those kids. And now we've got 5 teams across the high schools, in this area after we started that up and seeded. And they just jump on board. And it's really great to see athletes like Powles coming out of a program like that and continuing on with their career with that passion that's built.
Yeah. And again, whole person is a big part of that, without a doubt. So, all right, Nathan, that orange and blue on the men's side of thing, that's going to be Dan Fleeman having at it one more time, a little bit of a gap that he's going to be opening up.
Well, Hodges instigated, it looks like, and he's on the look. Well, and look, I wonder if the Sturzo is actually going against him as he goes to the left-hand side, and Fleeman says, fine, I'll go up the right. And look, I love how this is changing things up because he goes and tries to gutter it, but he says, no, fine, I'll just take the right hand and go right on by, and Hodges has no draft.
So, Nathan, what I see, with a lot of cycling, like national championships being canceled and that kind of thing, we're going to see more and more of these young people coming onto the Zwift platform as well. And that's one of the things I love. It's 16 years old and under are able to Zwift for free. Correct? I believe that the details might not be exactly right, but there's always been a super cool initiative from the folks at Zwift to get young people out there. And I'm sure we'll see a lot of that. Maybe we can host some kind of a NICA series at some point out here. I hope so.
There have been discussions. There have been discussions actually about something specifically like that.
I'd be all about it.
Especially if there's no NICA going on this fall. I think a lot of things are still in decision-making mode. I've gotten a couple. I do coach NICA. I do coach NICA locally, and we've had no practices up to this point. But so I have a feeling we're not going to have any events. But we'll have to wait and see if something can happen online.
Yeah, on behalf of our community, thanks for doing that, Nathan. I think that's really a great way to give back. That's for sure. You know who's not giving back? Dan Fleeman. He's got a cold heart.
Look at this. And this is the place to go. This is the place to go. It's the one climb. It's about a 5-minute effort. He pushed it at 7 watts per kilogram. He got a gap, and now he's just got to stay consistently a little bit higher than the chase. And it looks like they're not really willing to work together, or they don't have enough. I think Maynard, though, at WTRL, I think he's got more than 163 beats per minute to give. They might just be watching and think, we'll bring him back on the downhill. We'll have to wait and see, though.
Yeah, 5 riders working well together certainly are going to have something in their back pocket for the finale here. This story is being written, though. Fleeman, this looks like an all-in kind of attack to me right now. 6.1 watts per kilo. You can see the effort that they're making. I mean, that Watts per kilo is one of the true indicators, obviously, of the kind of effort being made. But when you see those same kind of numbers coming up from a group, you start to realize that they start carrying 1-2 kilometers more per hour when they're working together. So this numbers game, all of these metrics that we're looking at, again today, 29 kilometers of racing. It won't be exactly that. Keep your head up. It's always you have to be really alert out here. It makes up for 3 complete laps out on the jungle circuit, and these guys are already through the midpoint. So James Hodges, a very strong rider. So that's why for Fleeman, who again, Nathan, I always remember a real highlight of my career was going and doing the Tour of Ireland back in 2007, 8, 9, and Dan Fleeman did that race for the Cervelo Test team. And when a guy has World Tour chops and has continued to work hard, this man is a real threat. He's the triple threat. He's motivated, he's smart, and he's fit.
Yeah, and you can see 7 seconds. He's holding on to that gap here. I think the chase group, though, they are thinking on the downhill, they're going to blob up a little bit. They're going to get that pack rolling, get a little bit of momentum. And Fleeman, he's going to have to stay super consistent. And at 170 beats per minute here currently, I think he's right around threshold at 5.3 or so after that 7 watt per kilogram kick. You can see them coming on just in the distance behind him there. So it's a good attack. It's going to put a little pressure on, but not sure it's going to stick as they're going to come into a lap and a half to go.
Reality for those that don't Zwift, and I know a lot of folks watching haven't tried it. I highly recommend you do, but you never really catch a break out there. You're constantly having to put pressure on the pedals, Nathan. Downhill, if you stop pedaling, you will stop moving within about 5 seconds. So it doesn't take long for you to lose all of that momentum that you've built up. And then there's nothing quite like that feeling when you have to ramp it back up again, right? When you can feel that resistance in the trainer. That's what it's all about. It's unbelievably realistic. We're picking up now on the Colombian sensation. This is going to be Natalia Franco of the 2020 team. And what do we got here, Nathan? Kolchinski just incredibly active out here today. This woman is a wattage cottage.
Yeah, with about a lap and 1/3 to go at this point, or 2/3 to go, Kolchinski now again on the second time over the climb. She starts from the bottom to the top, already up in the 185 beats per minute, though. Really willing to risk a lot. Looking at that heart rate at this point at 186 already, she is just going to pin it.
Doesn't seem
like,
super
right
patient.
Into that. No, and that's kind of like you're already revved. And you're like, no, I don't care what gear. Let's see if there's another one. Try and shift, but I'm not sure there's going to be another one up at the top. And I think it's just going to pin it at the red with the RPMs here at this point and see what she can do at 186.
This is the kind of bike racer I absolutely love, where, you know what, there's a certain amount of reckless abandon here where it's like, look, I race hard, I race aggressively, that's how I do it. The chips don't always end up back in my pile, but I like to keep them moving around on the table, right? Rather than sitting on a pot and, just folding and folding and folding. She gets in every hand out here. I'm trying to use more gambling metaphors than war metaphors now, right? So we'll see how that goes. But this isn't what I'd call a completely all-in attack, but she's now split the group behind her, Nathan. Look at that. It's not as cohesive as you might think. Every woman for herself out here right now, as they have just gone past the midway point here for our elite women's race. And we started with a big group, unlike the men, which were, I would say, under 20 in the start. This was almost 40 riders and some big names. Thorvaldsen was out here. We're looking at Charlotte Backus right now. All right, Charlotte Backus here hanging on. If there's one rider that shows us what real grit is all about out here, it's Charlotte. Charlotte is a great example of don't judge a book by its cover.
Getting right back on the wheel there. Solid move here
by
Kolchinski, but gets right on the wheel there of Franco. She gets in the draft. Now drops the heart rate back down a beat, as you can see. It is going to be Franco pushing off, though. It looks like to move her way to the front. Looks like Franco and Paulus now. A little bit of a 2020 move to the front to make sure that they're either bringing Kolchinski back or at least just making sure that they're in charge of the front of this field. Yeah, the regulators are mounting up at the front.
Yeah.
MacGyver, Franco. It looks like that's the 3. Backus able to hang on. She almost lost the wheel there for a moment. It was just a moment where I thought perhaps Backus might be out of it, but it looks like things have calmed down enough for her to hang on.
I mean, It's so to give you an example, right? Let's say that you had set your energy gel a little too far away from you on the table, and you have to reach over, and for just that moment, you're off the gas, right? I'm not even talking about a second, but you just have to reach, and then you grab it, and now you got your gel. That's enough to open a gap, isn't it, Nathan? I mean,
Yeah,
without a
definitely, definitely,
yeah, and
plenty,
and
plenty to
then
open the gap.
and then you go from sitting comfortably on 300 watts to having make 360 watts for about a minute to close that down. It's a brutal sport. There's absolutely no quarter asked for out here, and there's none given. So we take a look at the front. For it, is this going to be Hodges now, Nathan? Going clear. It is.
Yeah, Hodges went clear, and I'm trying to find the moment that it went down actually. And I am seeing here, we're gonna go back to a little bit of a replay, and it looks like as they were just exiting they were just exiting. I can see here
Great
the
job.
they're just going over the top. It looks like not exiting. They're just exiting the suspension bridge here, as you can see, and right here at this moment, a little bit of a kick. It looks like Gajah and Hodges went as they exited the suspension
So
bridge. They got a gap into the downhill, as you can see here. So this is
they
replay
must
footage,
have.
everybody. They get a three,
So
four
this is a
second gap, and
counterattack.
Gajah and Hodges went. So that's how this happened. And now we're back here, as you can see, in with Hodges as he's off the front into the downhill section, and they were unable to bring it back. He actually opened up a solid 18 seconds.
This
I
could be a
think
problem.
he's using the reality that he can cut the corners too. It looks like in
So
order to make things faster.
Nathan, red alert. This is a major move. As a matter of fact, this is it. Here we go. James Hodges here, the British rider. You are looking at what's gone. Oh, yeah, he's gone. If they bring him back, I'm going to be surprised. So, a solo move, a brave move, but it makes a lot of sense. There's not a large group. There's no organized teams to chase you back. Every one of these guys, and this is ideal if you're Hodges. Gajda here alone, but you want them not working together is your best bet. That's for sure. But I don't even know if they're working together, if they're going to bring back Hodges right now. Nathan, that gap has gone up over 30 seconds here as you take a look at an exceptional. So James Hodges brought his A game to the jungle here today, a super sharp machete as he is just slashing away at the front. Very impressive.
Yeah, and
It's
you
going to
can
be a
see
long
33
20
seconds. I kind
minutes,
of want to
though.
watch this, how he plays this out here, because it's really interesting. Look at how tight he cuts these corners. Watch him move off to the left-hand side now, and each one of those
Swooping
little
back.
bits, yeah, and that is going to conserve. I mean, that's going to conserve, and it's going to get a lot of time back. Now, the reality is he is up against a group, and you know what's interesting to me? Okay, some people are going to say this is an advantage, an unfair in quotes advantage, and I would say that
Yeah.
if everybody doesn't have this, fine. But if everybody has this, this is an equalizer up against packs, because the pack, if they're not perfectly
Now
taking every
you can take
corner,
the best
cutting the
line
corners, you
too.
can take the
Is
best
the
lines, and well, the
right?
packs tend to travel faster simply because there's more bodies, and they get this snowball effect. And that has been one of the main complaints when it comes to Zwift dynamics, is that the reality of being unable to just muscle your way away from a pack,
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
there needs to be equaled out a little bit. And Hodges is equaling that out up against these 4 or 5 riders. Now they're trying to chase him down.
So Nathan, I see that we've got a few hundred viewers, have new viewers joining us here. What we are talking about is a new technology that's been developed. It's the Sturzo. What are you calling it, Nathan? How do you pronounce that?
Sturzo, Elite Sturzo, the Elite
Yep.
Sturzo.
So Elite, the company that makes it, it's a turning block basically that you put underneath your front wheel. So for me, it's the first. But Nathan, is this the first time that you've seen one used in competition?
This is the first time. Yes, this is the first time
Yeah.
I've seen
So
one
we
used in
are.
competition. 100%.
Yeah, this is a whole new era, and we're going to try to break it down for you. And I mean, there's nobody better than Nathan Guerra to help you understand how that technology is going to make a difference. And that's what we were just talking about. I'm going to turn my attention now back to the racing here. As Nathan, we've got a very dangerous 2-rider group that has gone clear. Reznikov is one of them, Antonina Reznikov, racing out of Israel, and that must be the mighty KK, Kristen Kolchinsky, K squared.
I'm going to see if we can find where that took place as well. I think I will be able to find exactly the section, of course, where that attack went off. And I think it was over Yeah, it looks like Kolchinsky made a move at the bottom. Reznikov went to go across, it looks like. Yeah, right here, actually. So we saw Kolchinsky make that move early on. Let's go ahead and take a look back here real quickly. Early on, Kolchinsky made that move, and you do see Reznikov on up over heading into this halfway through the second time up this climb. This is replay footage again, everybody. And look at Reznikov going across 6 watts per kilogram. Kolchinsky's got the gap, and this is where it happened, halfway up the climb here, as you can see. And so they got a little bit of a gap over the top, and then they moved their way into the suspension bridge, and they came over the top, it looks like, with a solid 18 seconds or so. So this is the live footage now back in, and it does look like they've got 14 seconds, but they got to make sure that they keep this group from chasing them down as Paulus, Backus, Franco, and McIver here continue on as they head into their final lap.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a really good lap of racing here. This one is in no way done and dusted, but this group has got their work cut out for them. I think that's exactly why we're showing up and racing out here today, is trying to find another level. And this is definitely going to push these women. So this is it. The chase is on, as we're going to watch less than 10K of racing to go. They're pinning it right now. Nathan, this one's going to be close.
It is going to be close. 18 seconds. It's not a whole lot. And they're only doing 3.9 watts per kilogram on the front there. So they're trying to work together, it looks like, to keep things steady. But I'm not sure that there's a lot of fuel left in the tank at this point after those two attacks. So Paulus, Franco, I think they're going to work together 2020. They've got some teammates, and I think there's going to be some good cohesion here heading into the final lap.
I agree. And I mean, really what you're seeing, you can watch the numbers in real time right now. You see like Franco just sitting over 4 watts, Paulus starting to ramp it up. So the numbers are a little, that now you see the breakaway starting to ramp it up here. So yeah, this is going to be fun. All right. We're just about hit 20K in for the women of 29 total K, as they pretty soon they'll be out on the last lap here on the jungle circuit. That's your chase group that we're looking at. The gap remains just under 15 seconds right now. Touch and go.
Yeah, I am seeing some great comments coming on through here as Aaron, Jamie Tracy, as well as Carissa Min, all coming in chatting about the Sturzel reality here with Hodges off the front. So I'm going to jump back in with him as he starts his final climb, but it does look like Fleeman, with only 36 seconds, the orange numbers are coming on here. And if Dan Fleeman's on the attack with Davies, this might get shut down. 35 seconds is not a whole lot. And I think a rider like Fleeman can bring things back together. Henderson now trying to hang on, but Hodges with this 36 seconds and the Sturzel, we'll see if it can make a difference. We're seeing Aaron here saying, when will the first community race with steering happen? Well, it looks like Hodges got in the race with it, from what we can tell right now. But perhaps, the official first community race with steering, I think we're going to wait a little while till there's enough riders to have steering in mass for an official race, but it does look like Hodges has gotten away with it. Versus saying that she's half watching because I'm not used to being able to watch subtle movements with the steering. It is pretty cool with the key moments there, Carissa. Good to see you over at Twitch chat.
Yeah, if you're tired of talking about COVID, you can talk about Steerzo quite a bit here, I think, on the different platforms, because it's going to be quite a fun discussion. This is great. New technology coming into the sport. So let's get back to the racing one more time, because this is it. The chase is on. Dan Fleeman is chase 1 right now. We're looking at about 21 seconds, actually coming down. So Nathan, well aware here that this one is far from over, but let's set the table here. 5K to go, a 20-second gap to a bunch of riders that are all on their own at this point. It's an OSS situation. Now, only the strong are going to survive all the way to the finish line here. And pretty quickly, we're going to be down to about 3 riders with a shot.
Yeah, and it is Fleeman here is continuing on 6 watts per kilogram consistently here. Hodges now 5.2, 166 beats per minute here. Maynard now 5.9 watts per kilogram, looking to come across the Fleeman. He might be able to do so if he's able to work together on the downhill at a solid 6 watts per kilogram. They'll bring Hodges back into the fold, and it'll be a sprint to the line. Hodges fading. I mean, he's been off the front for almost a lap and a half here at this point. Will he be able to continue on? Taking the fastest lines, though, it may be an advantage. Fleeman now 6 watts per kilogram continuing on. Sarge Close Closet looking to try and win this one. Now, in the women's race, though, very interesting to see, as it looks like 2020 now are on the attack as they head into their final lap, and they are within 13 seconds now of the Reznikov. They were actually, because of the pace that they sent, Charlotte Backus off the front No women's land here at this point, and she is going to be in solo TT mode, looking to hold off Duran and Timuel from Revo. So up ahead here, it is going to be the 2020 duo that was able to break those riders and try and bring back Kolchinsky as she starts her final time up the climb with Reznikov in tow.
To be honest, it makes sense if you're not getting any help from those riders. There's no point in help dragging them along and increasing their chances of pipping you at the line in the finale. You don't want to give an inch out here. Boy, we're honing in on that finish line pretty quickly here, and this is looking better and better now as we have, well, I shouldn't say better and better because it looks like Franco and Paulus are now inside of 10 seconds, but these two have got to, at this point, feel a lot of motivation as they, again, 29 total Ks. We're about 6.5 to go. It's a rugged 6.5 K as we get a really good look at what racing on this jungle circuit is all about. It is a game changer out here today. Really an interesting day of racing today, but the story really becomes Sophia Areola racing today. I did not see that she had taken the start earlier. It'd be good to welcome her back into the fold. 2020 really brought out all the guns, but now they're finding themselves behind the 8 ball here. The race situation has their 2 riders working really hard along with MacGyver. That's MacGyver, the tagging along here, letting 2020, as she should, do the work here in this chase. Or I guess you could look at that a whole bunch of different ways, but tactically, she's sitting on a hard chase right now. So I like the way the Cryo rider's playing her cards, just hanging in the chase group right now. But Nathan, they can just see them up the road here now.
Yeah, they're actually within sight. Is they going to round a right-hand turn here in just a moment?
Get a long straightaway.
There they are.
They're
right there. They're not too far up the road at all. And there's going to be some motivation in the legs of
Eat my dust.
5.1. But Kolchinsky says no, 5.7 no. As Reznikov sits on, but what, 181 beats per minute. She's got about 5 or 6 beats to work with still, I think, as Reznikov now sits in still. And I think Reznikov is playing the savvy rider because she is on. Which bike is she on here? That's going to be the Zwift gravel bike. And that bike's going to have a solid kick to the line. She may be just waiting for that moment to pounce.
Yeah, so these are your 2 leaders that we're looking at. Again, racing out of Israel is Antonina Reznikov, triathlon background. Kristen, I don't know what Kristen Kolchinsky's background in as far as if she, I'm going to guess that she's done some pretty high-level road racing, maybe triathlete, to tell you the truth. That's what we'll find out here as we're learning about her story. Looking back over with the men, Hodges is not that far from the finish. He would have seen less than 3K to go. Make it about 2.5 until this one is put paid for the men's side of things. So you wonder now, there's the main danger man, Dan Fleeman. We got ourselves a horse race.
30 seconds, 31 seconds. Fleeman's got more power.
Pretty good for Hodges.
Perhaps, but Hodges continues on. And this is a guy who's got solid threshold effort. He's been around a long time. And I think Hodges has the steady power here to hold off Fleeman. Unless Fleeman's got some sort of crazy 5 minutes, 6+ watts per kilogram after this entirety race. But not sure that's even going to bring things back as Hodges continues on with that Sturzo on the front, taking every corner almost perfectly, it looks like, as he cuts the corner to the left here at this point. Hodges here using new technology to take down the rest of the field. He planned it perfectly, too. You saw the moment that he was able to gutter everybody out. You know, you put them in the gutter. You go to the right-hand side, the left-hand side of the course, make sure there's no draft on you whatsoever. Go on the attack. And because of the reality of that, he was able to also cut the corners well, build some speed, and he got that gap. He's been off the front for a lap and a half at this point, and he's really put this effort down. For Hodges, 165, he's getting up toward max. I don't think I've seen Hodges over 170 in years, actually. So James Hodges here, solid effort. Haven't seen him win a race in a while as well, so he's going to be happy with this one.
First time you've ever really been able to procure something that is maybe even better than a power-up.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. There is going to be some questions now around.
Oh yeah,
and this is in the gaming world. In the gaming world, there's this term called pay to win, and do you play to win or do you pay to win? And one thing that's really, really frowned upon in the world of gaming is being able to buy things that give you an advantage in the game, to be able to buy any kind of advantage at all.
I get it. I could really see why.
So that's why earning drops, right? Like if I could buy my Sturzo or steering with drops, it'd be different because you earned it, right? But I can't buy a Sturzo with drops. I can't earn it in the game. And so I think there's gonna be some, raised eyebrows a little bit, like, okay, what are we gonna do about this? So, but
I don't know.
as more people get stirs, there'll be steering only races, but you can only get into the race then if you have steering, or that everybody's got an advantage.
Right. You will know that Zwift has really arrived when people are selling drops on the black market. Yeah,
like,
you go
a
on
whole
eBay
other
and buy.
discussion at that point. I'm going to leave that one alone because there's a whole world of black market World of Warcraft in reality with thousands and thousands on the. Oh yeah, this is already a thing, Dave. So
I was kidding. Obviously, I was kidding.
I'm not kidding at all. So that's definitely something people that is trying to be managed. So it's not happening. So Hodges, and there's plenty of banned accounts, an entire wing of World of Warcraft devs that just watch that. So Hodges now he's going to be taking the win. Fleeman trying to chase it. Not going to be happening as he crosses the line here. Fleeman now 6.9 watts per kilogram, though, it looks like, as he holds off Maynard. And it looks like it's going to be the MTBs that win it out in the men's race. So
noted. That's looks like the bike choice of the champs should be the bike choice of the rest of us out here. So is it Reznikov? Well, I was just going to say, jumping right back on our screen, that's going to be Kolchinski there in black. So this one is going to be an absolute Donnybrook. And there goes Kolchinski. She's lit the fuse here. So, Nathan, these two aren't playing around any longer. They're at each other's throats here.
Yeah, I just did want to catch this real quickly. We do have a sprint to the line here for the pack. And it does look like it is going to be Henderson here from the draft team. Davies trying to hold on, unable to do so. BRT going to be taken, it looks like, fourth place with Gaja across the line in fifth. So just wanted to catch that pack sprint there real quickly. Back in with the women, though, as Reznikov and Kolchinski bring it in for the final few K.
Yeah, let's just call this one home now. It's going to be about 3K to go, a little bit more than that. I don't know that there's anything more challenging than this situation right here, Nathan. These two are obviously very evenly matched. They've challenged each other. They haven't been making this an easy ride, that's for sure, but they haven't been able to shake each other either. So now you realize that you're locking horns with someone who's at a level that's very similar to yours. And this is where you say, well, who's got more heart? Well, obviously both of these riders have a tremendous amount of heart, right? You're not here at this point unless you've got all of those character attributes. So this comes down to timing. There's no question that that tactical mind of the rider who can play there, and a lot of times, Nathan, oddly, I think at this level, patience is something that can win you bike races. So you wouldn't really think that, would you?
Yeah, Reznikov, I think, has to be very patient here, and she has to follow the wheel of Kolchinski as best as she possibly can because she does have the better punchy bike here at this point. It's very cool to see that we have a mountain bike versus a gravel bike now because Reznikov, if she plays her cards right, she will have an advantage right to the line, but Kolchinski could kick, and if she gets a gap over Reznikov, she could go into a threshold effort and just hold her off the wheel if she's got enough power to do so. Reznikov, on the other hand, if she does just have more pure power and the ability to drag that wheel back, there's a risk that Kolchinski's going to have to take eventually, maybe, because unless she just really trusts her sprint to be that much better than the other riders. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Kolchinski tries to play her cards here leading into this, because it's going to have to be more of a drag race than a punch to the line for, I think, Kolchinski.
So neither of these riders would be listening to this cast right now. They most likely, most riders, I think, that are into it will go back and watch a replay later. But right now, Nathan, if I was the director sportif for Reznikov, it is all about sitting on. There's no reason to put your nose in the wind here until 100 meters to go. And again, that's gritty. That's some tough racing to do, but you're not going to get caught at this point. And they know this. They can see that gap is 50 seconds, so they can completely let this turn into a tactical slugfest here. They don't need to keep on the pressure. And so, like, if you watched Milan-San Remo this last weekend, you could see that, part of what was going on there was that Wout van Aert didn't want to back off at all. He kept the speed very high because if he did, they were going to get caught by the group right behind them. And that worked to his advantage because you didn't have that massive acceleration for Alaphilippe, right? and he ends up winning. Well, kind of the same thing here right now, where Kolchinski, she's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. And now, I hope that she's going to do what she can do.
This is exactly what she has to do.
Perfect.
And if she comes by this rider here, it's actually created an obstacle for Reznikov.
She's got to go all in, though. She's really got to push now, and this is where the race is really happening. Look at these numbers. Reznikov at 7.3, and Reznikov is able to survive that one, Nathan. Oh, boy, here we go.
Yeah, and it is Kolchinski now responding, but did Reznikov put too much in? And now if Kolchinski continues to put punches off the front, she might have to do more of a micro situation. I call them micro attacks, or 15 on, 15 off, something along those lines. The training tactic I use as well. It does work fairly well in Zwift. We'll see if she does that. And look, she does punch at the 8 watts per kilogram again. And now 180 beats per minute. And does she get the gap? She doesn't. On the downhill, it's going to be difficult to do. Second that it levels out, maybe what happens here. But now we're right into that last 100. I think we're less than a K to go here at this point. Really going to be put to her. Yep. Reznikov, what's she going to do? Now is to make her way to the front, but she's going to have to wait for that final punch, because when they do hit the dirt, the mountain bike's going to get a little bit more of an advantage. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, this is really interesting. The first time that we've ever had this scenario. So again, after almost 29K, it's come down to this. In the white jersey, that's going to be Antonina Reznikov racing out of Israel. Then we have KK. Kristen Kolchinski is the rider in black. So Nathan has noted that the bike advantage, a slight advantage goes to, or maybe not so slight, goes to Reznikov right now. She's on a gravel bike versus the mountain bike that Kolchinski's been racing on. But again, and there you go, up and out of the saddle. She's going to turn the numbers red. Look at that, huge numbers. And Kolchinski's trying to match, but I think Reznikov is going to drive that dagger home here. Oh, boy. All right, a command performance from Antonina Reznikov of the PTZ team. Nathan, she is gone.
Reznikov across the line. Kolchinski is going to come across the line in second place there. What a kick.
That's a righteous
Reznikov.
Second place.
Whew,
that's a really good ride.
Now, there's some games behind here that were played. Franco Wendt, it looks like, in 2020 played this perfectly, as Paulus did not make the chase, and McIver was forced to make the chase, but unable to close the gap now. And it looks like Natalia Franco is going to take this down, but there's a battle behind. Franco's got to go here, because McIver, 10 watts per kilogram at this point. Franco's going to just hold on, and it looks like she's going to be coming across the line for third place now at this point, but McIver's just going to be able to get fourth over Shayna Paulus, but the teamwork was done, so they were able to grab that final podium spot. Backus was dropped off about a lap ago from here, and she'll be rolling in for sixth place, I believe, on the day.
Yeah, holding her own out there. Well, I love it. This gravel format, I think, is going to be incredibly popular. I want to, as we have the women on screen right now, thank everyone who came out and raced today. Your participation was tremendously appreciated. And let's keep that momentum going as we reach out to the community and invite more folks. I realize it was kind of short notice, and we'll look forward to seeing much bigger numbers out here for the next few gravel races that we have. And big thank you again to Martin and Steven at WTRL. They do such a great job. I'm so happy to see our community recognizing the wonderful work that they're doing. Nathan, what a day. James Hodges certainly put on a clinic out here as he gets the better of Dan Fleeman. Chris Mannert, the Belgian, in third. Penn Henderson in fourth. Hewell Davies in fifth. Andrew Gajda in sixth. Hugo Sanchez seventh. Andy W. in eighth. It's going to be Veerman, then Harris for ninth and 10th. That's the A men.
Looks like
still out there racing, I think.
Yeah, it looks like the B category and a few others still out here racing. I think there were some good time gaps between them all getting going out on course here. But we do have the start of the women's category coming right on through. Big shout out to WTRL for providing all of the background data as well as putting this all together. They're doing an amazing job of getting the data traveling very quickly. So thanks a lot, Martin, for all the work in the background there. Antonia Reznikov there with that kick to the line. Opened up 3 seconds, showing us that she's got quite the sprint up in that 12 watts per kilogram that we saw. Yeah. Kristen Kolchinski then, as you were saying, the rider of the month. I like it how you're saying how time moves. You know, we're not rider of the year any longer. We kind of have this cool, like, we're racing so much and so often that you can kind of establish kind of this, pecking order of the month almost, which is pretty cool. But Kolchinski, definitely a new one on the radar recently. But Natalia Franco, playing the cards right for 2020, coming across the line in third, as Beth Mackay was able to get better as Shayna Paulus, Charlotte Backus, and then we do see Jasmine During coming across the line just now as they start to straggle in for the top 10.
This was great. I'm seeing a lot of feedback online saying they love this format. I do too, Nathan. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm definitely liking it, Dave. This is really great. I think the subtlety of the reality of the different bikes, different course, 4 week gravel series, a quick turnaround. I think it's a really great thing to be doing right now, especially in the middle of August, as it's kind of like the back end of summer. People want to get the most out of what they've got going on still for some outdoor riding, but it's looking forward to what's going to be happening here in the fall. So I think it's a perfect series to get involved in. Definitely looking to see the numbers grow as we do this week in and week out. Great job out there to the ladies and the men in the A categories. You can always check out all the results, WTRL. Head on over to their website. All the results are going to be over there, WTRL.racing. And you can always find all of our broadcasts over there as well. Lots of cool stuff. Obviously, WTRL team time trial coming up on Thursday. Be on the watch out for that. Tomorrow's TT on the USA Cycling Series, it will not be broadcast. A quick little announcement. Whenever TT mode in Zwift is used, we are unable currently to do the broadcast, just so everybody knows. So we'll be unable to do USA Cycling tomorrow, but we will be back for WTRL Team Time Trial number 69. We'll be one lap out and back again, 42.4 kilometers. Out and back again, Dave. I think there's a pretty significant climb in that. So that's going to be a very interesting team time trial that we'll be doing on Thursday for sure. Dave, steering, we saw its impact. James Hodges taking things down out there today.
It is amazing how things are constantly evolving, changing all the time. I'll be jumping on the forums to see what everybody thinks. That's for sure. I love it, Nathan. Thanks a lot for another great day out here. I'll see you Thursday.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of opinions will probably be coming back and forth here and there about. Now, wait a second, what's happening here? But
at least they're not talking about the announcing. So
yeah, well, I like that. Well, I don't know. I think there was a drinking game going on actually about the announcing, which looked like it was kind of fun. Actually, that wasn't pointed at me, which I completely own that one. But thanks a lot, everybody. I appreciate everybody hanging out. Great job to all the racers out there. We'll see you on Thursday for WTRL TTT. As always, everybody, we really appreciate all you, and ride on.